viewers, Walter here, sitting around relaxing, recuperating a little bit after my surgery. Thought I'd do a little vlog tonight. I haven't did anything all day but sit here and rest. So I thought I'd do a little mail call for you. Every once in a while I get an especially interesting email. I get lots of emails. I can't share them all. But I got one today I thought I would share with you. And it brings to mind my love of dogs. And I'll touch on the subject briefly, since the letter that this guy wrote me pertains to his dog. Seems he and his wife named their dog after me. He watches my videos, and I guess he had the TV turned on or something, and he came to mind, what are we going to name this dog? And he decided we're going to name it Walter, and that's what today's letter pertains to. And I'll read it to you. Hello, Walter. I've been following you for quite some time. I originally found your videos after stumbling upon your video of the car wreck down the road from you with the mid-flight helicopters. I was an EMT for 10 years before deciding to change careers this past May. After I found that video, I have watched most of all your videos, lots of them multiple times. I'm 28 years old and had a childhood similar to yours based on your stories, with some generational differences. I never had to wipe with a Sears catalog in the outhouse, however. You can bet I did. I found myself distressing for years watching your videos. I admire your kindness, honesty, love of your family, your work ethic, and your candidness. I was so happy to hear that your colonoscopy went much better than it could have been. It also made me sad to think bad things can happen to such a great person, but in my past job, I'm well aware of the fragility of life. I guess you could say the purpose in this message just was to let you know, I'm sure that you already know that your videos have touched many people deeply in ways I think one can expect by watching your videos of a complete stranger on the internet. But I guess at this point you're not a stranger at all. You've been a part of my life for years at this point. I consider you a friend. I was debating on telling you this next part, but my wife Caroline convinced me I should. Almost 5 years ago now, my wife and I brought home a Basset Hound puppy. We had him for about a week and decided it was time to give him a name besides just dog. He had a big, kind eyes, great disposition. Everybody loved him, and they still do. We were throwing around names, and I had my laptop open and saw one of your videos and the tab I had open at the time. I wish I could remember, but it was around March of 2017, and I immediately blurted out, Walter, and my wife loved it. Technically, his full registered name is Walter Wellington, Duke of Wrinkles McCann. My wife wanted to play with it a bit. I have attached a picture of Walter. They also call him Walter, Wally. I've been called Wally many a day in my life. Walt, I've been called that lots of times. Wally Gator, I ain't never been called that. Is his other nickname. Walter Parks, because like every Basset Hound, he loves to park on his walks. I wish you well, Walter, and look forward to your future videos. I think what he is referring to with Walter Parks is the way the dog sits. I had a dog very similar to that when I was a kid, the best companion I ever had. And I've got a total love for dogs, even though we don't have one in the house anymore. That's an entirely different story. It just hurts too bad. It just hurts too much when you lose one. It's like losing a member of the family. And I decided after we lost our last one that I just didn't want to get attached to another dog. We've had a few outside dogs, and I appreciated them and took care of them, but I've never really got attached to the dogs we've had in my older years. But back when I was a kid, my dog was like part of my family, but even after I was grown. But anyway, Walter reminds me, I've got a picture here of Boots. It's an old, blurry Polaroid picture, but the only one I've got of her. And she sat quite similar. She was a mixture of a beagle and might have been a basset hound. I don't remember what the other kind of hound she was mixed with, but she was the smartest dog I've ever owned. I know a lot of my viewers out there have dogs and pets. Some people have cats, I know that. But I've always been a dog person, although for the last 15 years that my kids were home, we did have a cat here in the house. So you really can't mix a dog and a cat in the same house. At least that's always been my experience. But I've always been a dog person. And I want to take a minute to thank Carman, that's his name, Carman McCann up in Massachusetts. I want to thank you for taking the time for the kind letter and the compliments on my videos, and I do consider my viewers my friends. It's like having a multi-extended family, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Anyway, I want to try not to get this video too drawn out, but I'll include some pictures that I created from the one picture they sent me here of Walter. Y'all have a good day. Thanks for listening to me ramble on, and I hope I made a little bit of sense in this story. I'll conclude today's vlog with a Boots story. Boots was smart, like a person. If it was something I was scared of, she would be scared of it. We were walking by the railroad tracks one time, and I was about 14 or 15. I've probably told this story before. And there's grass and bushes along the railroad tracks, and I'm walking down this dirt road or service road beside the railroad tracks. Boots is walking along beside me, just having a good old time. And a snake in the grass slithered across by my feet, and I jumped. It startled me. I said, "Oh!" Well, Boots figured if it scared me, it scares her too. She tucked her tail, and we were like a quarter of a mile from home. She headed home at a dead run, just ran off and left me. And she was at home sitting on the porch when I got there, and she was looking at me just like a sheepish little kid. Like, "I'm sorry I ran off and left you, but that old snake scared me too." I'll never forget the look on her face. She felt so guilty for running off and leaving me. Normally she would be right by my side. I had Boots for like 15 or 20 years. I went off to the Navy. And when I came back from the Navy after being gone a full 4 years, she was still alive and lived with my parents up in Blue Ridge. And when I came in the door for the first time coming home from the Navy, she didn't recognize me at first, and she barked at me. She didn't know who this stranger was coming in the house. And then a light came into her eyes, and she looked at me again and recognized me, and just was absolutely astounded. Like, "I thought you were gone forever. I didn't think I'd ever see you again. Welcome home." I just wanted a hug. She always loved to be hugged. And I love that dog dearly. She was one of the greatest companions I ever had. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little dog story with you and tell you a little bit about Walter, the Duke of Wrinkles. Y'all take care. It's P. Pwalpar saying, have a good evening.